What's up, Laker fans? Welcome to my scouting report on the Utah Jazz. In this video, I'm going to take a look at Quinn Snyder's strategies and relate them back to the Lakers as best as I can. Utah is a team of extremes on the offensive end, ranking dead last in the NBA in pace, but first in passes made. Their early offense largely consists of 5-out, pass cut and replace concepts. So that means that you have 2 guys filling the corner, 2 guys on the wing, and 1 guy up top, and every position is interchangeable. In this style, every player is either in one of these spots or heading to one of these spots. So for example, Neto back cuts right here, and Hood replaces him going from corner to wing. Neto didn't get the ball on the back cut, so he simply flowed to the weak side corner. You also have Lyles filling the other corner spot. Meanwhile, Hayward has replaced Lyles in the spot that he vacated. Gobert rolls to the basket and stays down low, but the perimeter concepts remain the same. Let's watch that same play again in real time so you can see those pass cut and replace concepts in action. Hayward is hurt right now, but Utah likes to run a lot of handoffs for him within this framework. I suspect they'll continue to do this with Rodney Hood and Joe Johnson, so the Lakers would be wise to have their corner man play ball denial. Utah runs a lot of Spurs motion sets, which in part explains the acquisitions of George Hill and Boris Diaw. Their most prominent set is motion strong, which makes them most similar to Atlanta. On motion strong, the point guard is going to dribble up one side or the other and then pass the ball to the trailing big. After that, he's going to stay on that side of the court and fill the corner. Then after the big gets the ball, he's going to move it to the opposite wing. A lot of teams will have the point guard set a down screen for that corner guy, but Utah doesn't really do that, and I think that's a mistake. They do, however, have the big who just made the pass at the down screen. Other teams use both guys to do that. After the guy in the corner receives the ball, a variety of actions can happen. Here it's a pick and roll, but Hayward decides to take Neto off the dribble as he should. On this one, they have Neto coming up off of the down screen, but Hayward decides to make the post entry to Lyles instead. This flows into a handoff for Hayward. So even with Hayward out, the Lakers are going to have to switch this or hedge and recover. That hedge and recover is more difficult to pull off when there's a shooter involved, like Lyles or even DIAW. Having run their system for a few years, Utah is very good at their counters. Here Utah is trying to run motion strong, but Anthony Brown is playing denial on Gordon Hayward. So Withy recognizes that and knows that it's supposed to flow into a dribble handoff going the other way. The reason that this works is because if the defensive wing is up high enough to play denial, he's not in position to tag the roll man. The Lakers were frequently too aggressive off of the ball last year and got burned. Hopefully this won't be the case under a different coaching regime. Utah's personnel changes will expand what they can do on these counters. This is the same action as the last play, but Joe Johnson is able to create a shot for himself out of it. DIAW also gives them a big who can attack from that top position. Utah will also go from motion strong into horns, which the Lakers do a lot of as well. As I noted earlier, they have great ball and player movement, so the Lakers might be wise to switch a lot, especially with Hayward out. Switchers are susceptible to guys who can create their own shot in isolation situations, and while Utah has improved in this respect, it's probably better to go that route than have them beat you with their ball and player movement. Utah runs motion weak as well, although they do it a little differently than the Lakers in that they have the point guard go to the weak side corner. It's also very slow in developing. Watch how long it takes Neto to go from the wing to the opposite corner. Another Spurs motion set that they run is called down one. It starts with the ball reversal just like motion weak or motion strong, but then the big sets a down screen for the original guy who made the pass. It can then flow into horns or a variety of other actions out of that. Utah usually has a preference for handoffs. Outside of the conventional Spurs motion action that they run, they have this little horns twist play. The guard will receive a ball screen, and then the other big will screen for the guy who just set that ball screen. This is particularly dangerous against stretch fours like Lyles or even DIAW, because that's an open shot. This is another play that I think the Lakers would be wise to switch. Lastly, they have this high post handoff play in which Hayward will usually get the ball off of a zipper cut and a down screen from the guard. Utah's perimeter defense revolves around Rudy Gobert, which allows their perimeter players to be a lot more aggressive. They're vulnerable to back cuts though, which we see here, although the Lakers don't execute it well. Clarkson was probably the most effective Laker guard at beating this. They're extremely aggressive off of the ball as well, which the Lakers struggle with. They need to utilize some of the counters that we saw earlier in this video if they want to remain competitive. They trail shooters and dare them to go to the basket, again because of Gobert. Watch Chris Johnson here switch his position once he sees that this is going to Lou Williams. They don't switch many off-ball screens, but when they do, it's usually against a guy who can't exploit it. On pick and rolls, they usually have Gobert hang out in the paint on a soft edge, but one of the great things about him is that he can still contest shots back there. The one guard who did have some success against him was Jordan Clarkson, as he was able to get into his body a couple times and shoot a couple of floaters. Gobert's presence is also why they do well in icing pick and rolls. When they do hedge harder on the pick and roll, it's usually with Lyles. Finally, while they're going to help out a lot on the offensive end and be an overall net positive, guys like Johnson and DIAW will hurt their defense a bit. George Hill, however, is a strong two-way player. Alright, hopefully that gives you a better idea of what Utah likes to do and how the Lakers can attack them. As always, feel free to hit me up on Twitter @LakerFilmRoom.